We're out here in the south of Spain with BMW Motorrad UK. This is a last minute invite for me. Let's have a quick look at this bike. Firstly, I'm not claiming to know much about bikes, very new to this world, but if you're like me and you're looking at getting a first time bike, then well, we might be looking at the right bikes, because today we're looking at the new F900R. This is a 2025 model, and the F900 XR, which is, I'll be riding one of these after lunch. So yeah, a bit bigger, maybe a bit more suited to me, but I really like the naked bikes. Retail price of one of these is £9,090. This particular press bike, as with many press cars that I'm familiar with, is basically fully loaded. So it has the fancy sport colour scheme, which I think is just stickers. It has the dynamic and the comfort pack, and in total, well, I'd estimate this is probably about 11 grand, which is a lot of money. You look at the finance deals on these, they're actually very, very affordable compared to cars, especially these days. It's an 895cc twin 2-cylinder, meaning it sounds pretty good. Quite a small bike for me. I'm 6'4" and I have a very long torso, so although I love this bike, I don't think it's one I would ever own, just because it is a little bit too short and a little bit cramped, but I fit it well enough, as again we'll talk about once we get it out on the road. What else is new? They have tweaked the riding position on these. You've got adjustable fork. We've also got a new dynamic mode. It's 3 kilos lighter thanks to these fancy red wheels, which I have to say in pictures don't look great, but in real life do look pretty good. All of the controls are very familiar to me from my time with that 1250GS. So we've got this lovely TFT display. Gives you everything you need to know, really. Sure, there's lots of pairing functions on there. This has got the preparation for the BMW nav, but I would normally have my quad lock device on the handlebar and then use my phone and pair the phone up to the bike. Rider modes here: rain, road and dynamic. That's a start stop. We've got heated grips. That's part of the comfort pack. And then on this side we've got things like indicators. This is to play around with the menu system, as is that button there that says menus. Great headlight design. Yeah, looks really good. As always, massive thanks to RST for supporting me with my boots, my trousers, my jacket. I've got textile waterproofs on, which are a bit warm and maybe a little bit overkill for out here, but it was meant to be raining all day and I'm definitely not complaining about that. Let's just have a quick look along here. So that's another F900R, same as what we got there. These are the XRs, bigger riding position, and there's the S1000 XR. That's what I had at the back end of last year. Noticeably bigger frame. 1300 GS back there. Michelin tyres as well, lovely. Yeah, please subscribe and share if you like what you're seeing. Starting off on the F900R, what are my initial impressions? Well, firstly, watch out for that coach coming down. It's compact. I still fit though, and I can imagine, especially on shorter rides, this thing would be really joyful. As a beginner, just over 100 horsepower on a bike that weighs, what, 200 kilos. I mean, it's more than enough for me. It really is. We've just stopped to do some flybys, and it's interesting because on the bike it sounds pretty good, but obviously bikes, like cars, are cluttered up with loads of emissions restrictions. I don't know what they call it on these, Euro 5 plus maybe, I don't know. So on the bike, although it sounds good, it doesn't sound amazing, and this one doesn't have the Akrapovic exhaust, but you can get it on this bike now from the dealer, and I think you couldn't with the older model. So you could probably make it sound a little bit better by sticking that can on. But the flybys, it still sounds really good. Handling wise, well, once again, I'm an absolute novice, so I've really not got much to compare it to. But it feels really nimble, especially to bigger, heavier GS's. Dog on the road. Hello, mate. Just got to keep an eye out for the surface. And also something I'm quite wary of out here in Spain, because I've done thousands of miles in fast cars on roads very close to this one. Their tarmac, usually actually only during the summer months, but they've got tarmac that almost bleeds in the summer, and it just becomes really slippery. And in a car, well, if you're lucky, you get a little bit of understeer, and you could sort that out. But on a bike, well, yeah, I wouldn't really like to experience that, so I'm definitely riding within my limits today, even though I'm keeping up with a very experienced bunch of guys. Yeah, it's quite surreal being here with a lot of big time motorbike journalists. Unfortunately, my good friend Chris Baron von Grumble is not on this launch, but hopefully we'll get to go on one together at some point in the future. Ah, it's just wonderful. I'm in dynamic, I forgot to say that, because yeah, road is just a little bit soft. Again, the majority of motorbikes are made for smaller frames and lighter frames. So when a big 100 kilo lump jumps on it, I'm probably a little bit too heavy for the sort of set-up spring rate. Is that another dog? No. But third gear here, gravel. I mean, it just has so much torque, it's lovely. Oh, it's fantastic. I love riding bikes. Oh boy, I've had a complicated winter. Really feeling under the weather. And yeah, getting the chance to do this again is just mega. You only live once, folks. You literally only live once. I know it's a saying, and when you're younger you probably hear it too much and think to your parents or whoever's telling you it, yeah, whatever, but oh, it's true. You only live once. Enjoy while you can. I think we're just stopping to make sure everyone is together. On another note, I really hope this mic works, because I've talked about it before on other motorbike videos on my main channel, and one of the biggest fafferys of filming on a motorbike is getting your camera equipment working, your mic working, especially because, as you can imagine, well, it's a windy place up here. It's like sticking your head out of a car window on a car. In fact, how does that sound? What's that, about 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour maybe? Oh, it's lovely through the tighter stuff, this bike. It really is. I've got to be a bit more progressive with the front brake. I think I grab it too much initially. I get a lot of fork dive. Oh wow, look at that for view. Oh, outstanding. And all the better for being on the bike. Although that definitely looks like rain in the distance. Right, we're just rolling in for some lunch at the Almeria circuit. We're actually at the circuit tomorrow on S1000RRs, S1000R, and I think the M1000RR. So really looking forward to that, and I'm glad we've done it this way around. Well, there we go. Right then, lovely lunch. We've had a little look at the circuit for tomorrow's action. But for this afternoon, we are jumping on this F900 XR 2025 model. Again, it has the sporty paintwork, which looks like BMW M. Again, it has the red wheels, same dashboard. We've got a nice big visor, which I believe is new, or maybe a new option for 2025. Yeah, it definitely feels straight away like a more comfortable bike, as you'd expect, because well, the F900R is a bit of a street fighter, naked, smaller bike, almost based on a fully blown sports bike. It's nice having the visor, although it's not doing too much. I think it's protecting about half of my head. Well, that is one way to start the afternoon. It is very like a Petrolhead Tours on motorbikes. It's amazing. It's really cool. It's just lovely following a load of bikes. You can watch everyone's lines. I'm learning so much about my riding and these bikes. We've got Casey Stoner on a Repsol Honda. Now that is going back some. It's funny, whenever I'm in Spain and I see Repsol, I always think of Marc Marquez, but of course Marc hasn't been in Repsol for a year and a half now. If only Casey and Marc were on track at the same time, that would have been interesting to see. So initial thoughts are it's far more comfortable. It feels a bit softer. The riding position is way more laid back and upright, but I really like it. Even though it's not as nimble as the F900Rs, still a great bike, and it still feels sporty enough for me anyway. How much range I've got, so 244 kilometers we just filled up, and that we based on the riding we've just been doing. So what's that, 150 miles of, well, flat out riding. So that's a normal display, which is pretty cool, which we can, there, and then that's the sports display. And you can see how much the dynamic traction control is kicking in, ABS, etc. The lean angle down there, which is pretty cool. Probably something you don't want to target too much on the public road, but when in Spain, there's all the boys. And I say all the boys, it is all the boys. I've actually found out today that I've replaced Kate, username Kate, who is an awesome motorbike YouTuber, filmmaker, content creator. Kate, I'm sorry that you couldn't make it out here, but keep doing what you're doing. It's such a different experience with a load of other riders, because the majority of riding I've done was back in 23 when I was going through the Alps on the R1250 GS, and of course I was on my own for like 6 days, 7 days. Even though this is only the 895, it does have a lovely load of torque. So we got 2000 RPM, full throttle. Look at that. In 5th gear. Sorry, I forgot to say that bit. There's a couple of parallels on this trip to my first ever BMW car launch, which was also in Malaga, or in the Malaga area, back in 2017 for the G30 5 Series. I just remember thinking on that trip, wow, I think I even said it in my video, this doesn't feel real, it feels surreal. I'm here with fully fledged journos and on a proper car launch with a proper manufacturer. And although I'm definitely a reserve on this trip, it feels equally as good, and I feel equally as privileged to get this opportunity and this chance. So big thanks to Neil for inviting me. I wonder if bikes are like cars in the sense that although you can get a lot more power, a lot sportier machine for the road, is it worth it? Especially if you're using a bike predominantly in the UK. I mean, this is fast enough for everyone. I don't care what anyone says. It's definitely quick enough for the public road. Out here, where you can go a little bit quicker, well, yeah, and maybe with experience, I'm going to be chasing a bit more power, a bit more agility. But don't think for a second that this bike isn't as fast as a very fast sports car on a great road, because I'm sure once you're dialed in the dry, it's epic. Probably like the whole sort of, you know, Boxster Cayman is more than enough for the public road. Look at that view. Wow. Oh, fantastic. The tarmac is definitely wet here. Yeah, very, very wet and slippery. What an experience. Oh wow. Hopefully I'll become much better at filming videos on bikes on this channel. Obviously I need a lot more practice, and there's going to be a lot of learning along the way, both in my ability of how to ride a bike, how to review a bike, how to talk about a bike. But hopefully you enjoy the journey along the way. Started on the F900R, and then we finished on the F900 XR, and in fact here you can just see the size difference. Although they're basically the same ingredients or very similar, they're very, very different to ride. That is undoubtedly more fun, more nimble, even feels a little bit faster, probably because it's a bit lighter, but this is more comfortable. You get out of the wind a little bit more, but it's a lot lazier in terms of handling. It's really slow to respond. It's way more like a GS to ride than that is, and I guess that's really down to the actual riding position. You can see the difference in handlebar height. Which one would I have out of the two? Probably the XR, only because I fit it better. If you're fairly new to riding and you're a bit unsure if the 895 or 900 is going to be quick enough compared to an S1000, well, I think on the road it's definitely quick enough. Yeah, there is my novice review of both of the new F900s model year 2025. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Make sure you do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you at another video very, very soon. Cheers.